If the algorithm gods are showing this to you, you're obviously some sort of dumb jock who thinks that reading is lame. But that's perfect because this is TLDR. I read it, so you don't have to. Today we're continuing a series on Sun Tzu's The Art of War, which we're focusing specifically on sports and coaching today. So what, you might ask, can some old Chinese general dude from like 2,000 years ago who led armies to kill people with spears teach me about curling? Well, the answer is I don't know because I've never curled before, but having casually and often poorly played a variety of sports. Let's see, I've played basketball, I've played ultimate frisbee, volleyball, soccer. That's football for all you non-Americans out there. I've played real football a little bit here and there, and I played rugby as well. So I can say that all the precepts laid out by Master Sun will indeed make you more successful if you actually listen to them. And yes, you did hear me correctly. I did play rugby as an American. In fact, here's a photo of me from when I had more hair, more muscle, and a lot more free time. Now, I can't say that I've ever been excellent at any particular sport, but I can say that if I would have read this book like 20 years ago, I might have had more athletic success. Nonetheless, in no particular order, let's observe some of the precepts from the art of war from the perspective of a modern athlete. All right, so the first quote here, Master Sun says, "Whoever is first in the field and awaits the coming of the enemy will be fresh for the fight. Whoever is second in the field and has to hasten to the battle will arrive exhausted." Now, I hate being late to things. That probably comes from some childhood trauma that I have, wherein I would get punished with like an hour of extra work whenever I was late to dinner, even for like a minute. So now I'm chronically on time to things, and I get anxiety even when I think I'm going to be late. But how does this apply to sports? Well, I can tell you that whenever we were traveling to our away games for the rugby club I was a part of, and we were late, I would get this anxiety in my stomach. And we were like always late, and it definitely didn't help our strategic or our athletic performance to be looking for the field like 20 minutes before kickoff or having an abbreviated warm-up or run through the plays. And the pre-game beers didn't help either. Nonetheless, show up early to the field, walk it so you can see where there's gopher holes or uneven terrain, see which angles the sun is coming at, see if it's going to be in your eyes when you're looking at the goal, see if the lines are painted correctly or if the goals, the way they're lined up, have any flaws in them. Understanding where your battle will take place is key to heated in the moment decisions that can change the course of the game. So additionally, maybe watch the team's warm-ups. The other team, that is, what is their energy level? Do they look sloppy? Are they cohesive? Are they yelling at each other? Are they also late and trying to figure out where the field is? All this information can help you understand during the game where the flow is headed and why. So tying into observing your enemy, Master Sun also says to know the enemy and know yourself. So watch your opponent's gameplay footage if you can get a hold of it. Or as I mentioned, maybe watch them warm up. What kind of strategies do they employ? Are they aggressive? Are they defensive? Are they dirty? Who are the strongest players? Do they have any key injuries on the team? Are they players who perform well, or are they players that are crumbling under pressure? Do you see any patterns in the play when they make a certain call and you can hear it? So knowing the enemy is important, but you should also know all those things about your own team as well. Master Sun says, if you know the enemy and yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. But if you know yourself, but not the enemy, for every victory gained, suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. So moving on, what about some specific tactics you might want to use? Master Sun says that warfare is based on deception, so never let the enemy know what you're doing. Run trick plays, run the same thing 3 times in a row to get inside their head, make them think that a call means something else, and always be patient. Master Sun says that the key to victory is often provided by the enemy themselves. So just wait for them to make a mistake and then capitalize on it. You don't need to play perfectly offensively. Just play excellently in your defense and make less mistakes than your enemy. For Master Sun also says the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. And tying into that, he also says, let your object then be victory, not lengthy campaigns. So, don't dwell on toying with your foe when you think you have a certain victory in your pocket. It always allows them further opportunity to capitalize on your mistake and end them swiftly, and don't let them unite, keep them frustrated and angry at one another. So let's look at a couple more here, specifically with perhaps your team's placement on the field. If the enemy is stronger than you are, avoid them. If they are big, be fast and agile. If they're fast, stick together and hit them with strength in one area, since they can't be everywhere. And once again, this comes down to knowing your enemy. Also, helps to know the rules of the game. If you know the specific rules of every circumstance, you can do fast throw-ins or kickoffs, or put the ball into play faster than the enemy thinks it will be ready to go into play. Master Sun says, rapidity is the essence of war. Take advantage of an enemy's unreadiness. What's last here on the list? So in the words of Master Sun, don't be a douchebag. Well, he didn't exactly say that. But what he says is, a general that puts aside his ego when making decisions is a jewel to the kingdom. In fact, Master Sun gives a whole list of specific negative traits that you should leave at home, including recklessness, cowardice, a hasty temper, and some other things. Additionally, from the perspective of a coach or a captain, getting your team to do what you want them to is not as simple as just yelling at them. Master Sun says that they first must like you, and then you must firmly and swiftly make an example of those who disobey you or sow discord. And to quote him again, first, treat soldiers with humanity, and then iron discipline. But back in line with that whole douchebag thing, don't give commands to people that they can't follow, or else you're going to lose their respect and the resources. That means you must be well informed of both the capabilities of your team and the enemy's team and the situation at hand. Anyway, that was probably too much for all you dumb jocks to remember, so I'll cut it short there. This was TLDR, Too Lazy, Didn't Read. I read it, so you don't have to. If you're interested in picking up the book, see the link in the description below to Amazon so you can buy it there, and I'll catch you next time.